Brandon Graham, that's what I'm talking about. Coming in to Stand Together Live. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for real.
I just wanted to say to everybody that's on this channel right now, I'm just so excited to be spending some time with Brandon. Everybody on your side, they know and they love you for all the good work that you've done throughout your entire tenure of playing the NFL. But for everybody that doesn't know me, my name is Donnie Jones. I'm the original 55 from Philadelphia. I just want to let you know I'm the original 55 from Michigan. I'm just like the original 55. I just want to put it out there like that. I know I see all the hearts. You know, people can just start, you know, in the comment section, just putting 55, 55, 55, D Jones, 55. Yeah, this is really Donnie Jones. That's right. That's me right there. Just want to let you know. But my name's Donnie Jones, and you know, I really believe that there's power in the world by helping others, and that's what Brandon and I's conversation is really about. And I love looking for opportunities, you know, to help others and fortunately allow them to share their stories. And Brandon Graham has one of the most powerful stories that one could have, both throughout his lifetime, but also in terms of like what's relevant right now. And so Stand Together and I have joined forces to bring together some amazing people to offer inspiration, nuggets of hope, motivation, and that's why me and Brandon are hanging out in Stand Together Live. So without further ado, Brandon Graham, everybody, round of applause. I wish I had some sound effects because I put them out there.
Hey, when you see people live and you see how creative they was with all the little sounds, the ad libs and stuff like that, man, it do make you want to have them.
Oh, look, trust me, I have them right here on my iPad. But you know, it's like Kramer, was it Jim Kramer on CNBC? You know, he just pulls out those horns and things like that. It wasn't really like jiving with my audience, so I had to kind of hold it back. But you know, if you want me to, I can bring some of that out. I could even play a couple songs for you. But you know, we just really want to get into we want
to get the message out, like you said, and we want to you know, help some families. So you know, that's a big thing right now. So we can save it for later. We can save it for later.
Look, 2018 Super Bowl, finally getting it done with the Eagles. I know everybody's excited about that 10-year pro. You're a Michigan man. For all those that are out there, go blue. But most importantly, you're someone that's really stepped up during this important time around COVID-19. So I really appreciate you joining the show. As I said before, Stand Together, you know, it's all about bringing together communities. We launched #GiveTogetherNow. It's a relief effort created to get cash directly into the families' hands of those that are struggling as a result of this true crisis. And we partner with innovative leaders across the country who are now on the front lines helping families that are ultimately impacted. So I just want to let everybody know we've raised enough money to help 51,000 families get $500 directly into their pockets. So, you know, and Stand Together, Lauren is going to be on the feed. She's going to be answering any questions that you might have. But we've raised a total of $26.3 million, $26.3 million, which has affected the lives of close to 51,000 families, which is just amazing. All of the major gift givers, but more importantly, it's the people that are in this room that, you know, whether you give $100, $5, $10, or whether you just give an act of kindness, right? All of that contributes. And one of the things that Brandon was talking about, you never know, you never know who's watching and what might happen. And remember, 100% of the dollars go directly into the hands of the families that need it most. Also, throw out those questions. So, Brandon, you gave a major gift to so many people that are on the front lines of COVID-19. You know, just tell us about those donations, because I think it's such a powerful story, both what you've done here in Detroit and also what you've done back in Eagles country in Philadelphia.
Well, you know, me and the wife, you know, she was talking to me about just on trying to do something. And, you know, she came up with the idea of, you know, getting some subs at first because we wanted to not cross-contaminate food, you know, for
Right.
hospitals. But at first we was just trying to figure out who needed the help, you know, and we was talking about the frontline workers. And then on top of that, people that, you know, need, like what you're doing now, helping families, you know, get their next, you know, bills paid, you know, for, you know, the next month. And so, you know, we wanted to, you know, just show our impact, you know, impact somebody, you know, and we thought, man, the hospital. We was like, man, what's a better way? And so she used one of her connections, and she was talking to her, and she was talking about how it's hard for them to get food to come because they don't provide the big orders like they need. So some people will have to, you know, place orders of however much they can handle at that time. So we end up calling Jim's Steaks in Philly, and we talked to the owner, and he was, you know, willing to do it. And the biggest thing was not cross-contaminating the food and making sure everybody had individual stuff. And so that was the best thing that we came up with, because, you know, he made the order for us. We did like 300 subs for all the people that was working in at UPenn. And now we're trying to do at Henry Ford Hospital down in Michigan, and try to do both ways and just help, you know, periodically. I mean, I'm only one person, but I do want to, you know, try to continue to keep doing, you know, like we always do, little small things. But if we can get everybody to just want to do that and have that mindset, man, we could do so much more. And that's why we're here now, because, you know, we need y'all, you know, to donate whatever you can. Because I'm telling you, when the smoke clear, everybody always remember the one who stood tall and tried to help and not run away and shy away from others, you know, since things got hard. And so, you know, that's why we're here, y'all. You know, we just want to, you know, tell the story, and then hopefully inspire people to want to do more, and know that just because you think you one person don't mean you can't make an impact. Because what I say today might impact one person, but that one person might impact another person, and there you go. You know, it's just a domino effect. And now, you know, we stronger together.
Man, I mean, that's exactly what we talk about at Stand Together, is being stronger together, and being able to help one another, but also one person can make that impact, but it's really the collective community. One of the things, just really quick, I'm getting a little feedback from your TV, because I know you got that massive room with all the jerseys in the background.
Oh, okay, turn it down. Yep,
yeah,
I got you.
Pause that real fast, because I want to make sure, you know, that I'm not watching TV, but I'm just watching you, because your story is an amazing one, but it's also something that's also relevant in terms of what's right now. And I saw the news article, and I'm so sorry for your tragic loss, but a lot of people may not have known, but tell them about how COVID-19 has directly impacted your family.
Well, my dad's sister, she ended up, you know, catching it. She worked down at the hospital. She just recovered from it. And, you know, I remember calling her, and it was hard for her to breathe. I mean, you know, we went through it with her, you know, and like, you know, she started to get better every day. And, you know, she ended up recovering from it. But two aunts, one is a family friend, but she's like, aunt, you know, grew up, you know, being around her. You know, she had, you know, a family, and, you know, this was kind of sudden. You know, she ended up getting sick, went to the hospital. You know, obviously you can't see her, you can't go visit her, but, you know, she was texting at first, and then she went to a coma, never came out, you know, and so you know, it's a weird space, you know, to be in. You know, you lose, and you can't even go to the funeral because of all the stuff that's going on right now. And then on top of that, you know, another aunt passed, my grandma's sister, my grandma on my dad's side. So my dad's side took a hit, you know, and so, you know, it's just, you know, trying to be there for my dad, be there for, you know, the people affected. And then on top of that, you know, trying to still inspire, still help, and, you know, give back and help during this time, even though, you know, it's tragically happened to my family. But I always say, you know, when things hit home, you know, you seem to pay attention even more, and I'm thankful that, you know, things happen, because you learn from you know, mistakes that you make, or, you know, stuff that's going on in the world. And that's why I'm really taking it serious, because I'll be sick if I come home not taking this serious, and come home and give my kids, my wife and everybody, put them at risk because of, you know, stuff that, you know, you tend to want to do, people that ain't practicing social distancing. Not saying that, you know, my aunts or nobody was doing that, because my aunts and them, they was working, one work at the hospital, and then, you know, you just never know when you caught it, like, you know. But I know that now for me, it's taught me to, you know, just really take everything serious, because I really feel like, you know, the media put out a certain thing, but we don't know how serious it really is.
Right.
And it didn't hit home for us. So, you know, we in the house. Only time I go out, you know, is when I go pick up groceries, and they delivering that in the car.
Right.
I even take my clothes off, take my shower, wash the clothes, and then, you know, we back to our life in the house, you know. And so I just feel like, man, you know, it's been tough, but, you know, we got family that we can depend on, and people know that we there for them.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable enough to share your story, and thank you for being strong enough to be able to help out the community, because so many people do need that. And you know, I keep saying this all over and over again as we talk on Staying Together Live, is how we are truly coming together as a community. We do talk about that from Stand Together perspective, and how we're raising money, but most importantly, to your point, we're raising awareness, and a lot of people don't even know. I mean, there's communities out there that are not, to your point, really understanding what is truly happening, and how it affects each person's lives. And one of the communities that's so greatly affected is a place that you're from, in terms of Detroit, where you know, you're sitting right around the corner up the street in Detroit, just like myself. And you know, there's a lot of people that are downtown that are going through that. They have to ride public transportation. They have to go to work. They truly are the people that are on the front lines, whether they're in the medical world or other places. They're truly affected. But what was it like growing up in Detroit, and how did growing up in Detroit help you sort of accomplish your goals? Like I gave the laundry list of all the great things that you've done, but take us back to Detroit and your experience as a child.
Well, you know, growing up in Detroit, you know, over in my neighborhood, I stayed over on Corbett, right there, Connor and Harper. And, you know, we had a bunch of
hold
people.
on. You got to tell people how Detroit's oriented.
Oh, okay.
You got to be like, oh, East Side Detroit, West
I'm
Side
on the
Detroit.
east side of Detroit, you know, right there, Connor and Harper, by Wayne County Community College. And that's where I grew up. And growing up, man, you know, I lived with my grandma, my mom. It was me, my grandma, my sister, my grandpa, and my uncle. And, you know, we all stayed in the same household. You know, growing up, you know, you had people that really, you know, took care of you, because, you know, it was like still that old school feel. All this new technology, nah, man, people don't understand what it used to be like going outside and playing, and come and not going past the bushes right there, you know, so my mama can see me. And, you know, then it's turned into the street lights. When the street lights come on, you better be in front of the house. But, you know, you had people growing up that really, on my block, you know, that really looked after you. But, you know, you surrounded by the crazies, people that's, you know, doing stuff. You know, you gotta, you kind of know your routes that you got to take, because, you know, people doing what they do. And so I feel like, you know, God navigated me through that. And so, you know, just like everywhere, man, people got they stuff that they got to deal with. And, you know, luckily, football was one of those things that kind of helped me stay focused. You know, I wasn't a bad kid in school. You know, my mom was strict, you know, on me about C's. So, you know, my grades had to be A's and B's, you know, if I'm trying to get this money. Because she used to pay me like $10 for every A. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you all had a deal?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing the same for my kids, you know what I'm saying? Because it kind of help you, and it kind of make you, like, what she used to do is, you know, hey, you save this, you know, up, I'll give you the other half. And, you know, and by then, when I save it up, I don't even want it no more, because I see the money, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yeah, man, I just was thankful that, you know, I had people that, you know, like my coaches, people that growing up in this city, you know, once I started playing football, that started to look after me and, you know, hold me accountable if this was my dream, you know, this is what you want to do, then go ahead, do it, man. But you got to make sure, you know, you got to cut friends off that ain't got your same vision. You know, that was my hard part, because, you know, you got a bunch of boys that you grow up with, that you love, and it's like, man, some people ain't got that same focus that you got, and it ain't nothing personal. It's straight business. You know, my life is important to me, and, you know, I want to help, but some people don't want to help. They want to learn by what, you know, they go through. You know what I'm saying? They don't know until they go through it, and then sometimes they still don't learn until it's too late. And, you know, I just, you know, for me, man, I'm just thankful that I had the coaches. I had, you know, growing up in a single parent household, I was the oldest of three girls, you know, three sisters, and, you know, I was the one that had to lead. I had to take the hits first. No brothers, you know, football players, you know, people outside was my brothers. And, you know, I had to kind of navigate through that too, because, you know, every, you know, as you know, everybody ain't good for you. Everybody ain't happy for you sometimes, and you got to learn to cut that off too, you know. And for me, man, if I wanted to elevate, I had to learn that quick, you know, because my mom always told me, you know, hey, everybody ain't going the same way you going. If you say you want to do this and it start to happen, you start to see a change and a shift in people. And so,
was football always your gift? Did you know it? Just all of a sudden, like, oh, you know what? I'm a big dude. You know, I gotta get out there. I gotta try this game, because I remember when I was growing up, you know, football wasn't even my sport. You know, I was a swimmer, right? A lot of people are like, oh, Donnie, you were a swimmer?
Man, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I was a swimmer. I just want to let you know, before I played football, before I donned that 55, I was a swimmer. And I moved into the world of football because I had a bad temper. So I'm always curious in terms of how people got into the world of football, or if they even recognized that football was a path that they could take, or that they wanted to take.
Well, my daddy put me in football. You know, he wanted me to play. He put me in basketball and football, but football was the one. But early on, I didn't like football. I had quit my first year because I got hit by one of the dudes that's been playing, that you know how you lay on your back, you turn. Well, it was crazy too, because that wasn't the one we did. That wasn't the one we had. We had two lines. We had one line, one guy facing one way, another guy facing the other way. And then so we go around and we in that tunnel and we go straight in the middle. Man, all I remember is the number 3 run me straight over. Bam! And man, I got a stinger in my shoulder. I was like, man, I ain't doing this. You know, that was the first day of pads. I told my daddy, I ain't doing this, you know. And I remember him, we was in front of my grandma's house. And, you know, we was in the driveway. He was just talking about, man, I just don't want you to be a quitter. You know, you started it. You know, you said you wanted to do it after, you know, he pushed me, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I understand, because, you know, now having a son, I do want to see him, you know, be able to go have fun and play and do something, you know, like that, like football or basketball or whatever. But I told him, like, man, okay, you know, I made a promise to him that I wouldn't quit, you know, something that I started. So I ended up going back. Didn't really play as much as I would, you know, that I didn't really want to play anyway, but I ain't play as much as, you know, he wanted me to play that first year. Then the second year was okay. But by that third year, my last year on the C team, I had, I started to see that, you know, okay, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I started playing middle linebacker. I was everywhere, you know, making a lot of plays. And, you know, it was just, I mean, after that, you know, I started to feel good about it, because, you know, I felt like people looked for me to make plays, you know, and it wasn't like that at first. It was kind of like we had certain guys on the team that was real good. And this was my last year on the C team. I was 10 then. And then I ended up, you know, having a good year. I won MVP that year. People started, you know, really like looking to me to make plays. And then I got into a car accident. That's why I got this little scar right here. And so I was out for a year. Because my mama didn't want me to play, because I had got a car had hit us from the side. I hit the rearview mirror.
Wow.
And I was opening the door, and it flung me out. And so I just remember looking up, coming up, and blood just was coming down my face and hit the ground. I passed out. And you know, after that, my mom didn't let me play for my 11-year-old year on the B team. And then by my second year on the B team, because you can only go 11 and 12 on the B team. I was okay. I was still coming back. I was still a little nervous, you know what I'm saying, from that. you know, and by my 18th year, that's when it kind of took off for me. Because I played 1 year, I balled out, and then my coach, I was like 190, and the weight limit was 180. He didn't want me to keep having to lose weight every week, so he sent me up to Crockett. He took me to up to Crockett, and you know they got me in because you had to take, you know, you had to go through orientation and stuff like that. But they got me in, and you know the rest is history from there, man. Like I you know, started balling at Crockett, playing middle linebacker. Had some greats like John Thompson, them boys in front of me that taught me the ropes a little bit, and then you know, I just kind of took over from there, putting the work in.
Man, that's a story of powerful of power, because as we think about from Stand Together, you know, you talk about the community, which is not only your father and your grandmother and the rest of the neighborhood, but you also talk about sort of the win-win scenario, right? About your grades, and then you talk about sort of that hard work. You talk about how the game of football also positions you for the game of life. And you talk a lot about the Detroit Police Athletic League and the positive impact that it had on your life. What's, you know, we can go, let's go from the field a little bit to sort of like the real world. What talents or what gifts did the Policeman Athletic League give to you off the field that allowed you to sort of even thrive on the field while you were playing football?
Well, you know, they put a lot of good coaches, good people in place, you know, during that time, because, you know, your coaches definitely, you know, when you were part of a team, your leadership has to be strong. You know what I'm saying? And so, and they got to be able to hold people accountable, and they got to have a good team, a staff, you know, that they got to work with, you know, because I ain't gonna say everything perfect, because it ain't like, you know, we ain't been to a game where we had to fight, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it just happens, you know what I'm saying, sometimes. But I really do believe that I got coaches that I still talk to this day that always checked up on me, always made sure that, hey man, you know, get them grades, man, you know what I'm saying, get on your stuff, you know, stay out of trouble, you know, always keeping them eyes on you, you know. And that was one thing Pal gave me. Taught me discipline, you know, with the coaches that I had, the people that I had. They just held you accountable, man. Anything that we needed to address, we addressed as men, as what they talk about, you know. And that's when I started to learn, because not having a dad in the household is big. My dad was in my life, but he wasn't in the household, so I wasn't able to see him, you know, all the time. I see him when my mama allowed me to go over, or when he wanted to come over, however it worked, because, you know, you in the middle as a child when you outside, when you living in a single parent household. Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, their eyes on you all the time.
Yeah, you know, and then my mama, you know, and him, you know, got they fuse, and I'm in the middle, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I go. But that's what inspired me to say, man, I ain't gonna be like that. I'm gonna make sure I marry somebody and be in the household and have kids and help. And, you know, I looked at it the total opposite. You know, I wanted it to be more, because, you know, I love to hug and kiss. I love family, you know what I'm saying? Like growing up, we always had Sunday dinner over my grandma's house, you know, and as we continue to keep going, you know, growing, you know, things kind of, you know, fell apart a little bit, you know. You wouldn't, but, you know, that's family stuff, you know. But you need to learn to address, and then you keep moving forward. And, you know, as I grew up, you know, man, I was surrounded by a lot of love, man. And, you know, I'm just, you know, like I said, I'm thankful for that, because in Detroit, man, it's getting rougher and rougher. It's getting better, but, you know, it's a lot of stuff that's out here that people put on social media that's going on that you didn't know was going on back then. It probably was, but social media made stuff look so crazy nowadays, man. And it's like, I'm glad I was a part of an era where social media wasn't popping. You know, I'm sure you was the same way.
Look, if we didn't have social media, we couldn't do this right now. So
right, we couldn't do this. So I mean, I love the platforms it could put you on, but, you know, sometimes, you know, it's a good and bad with everything, man. I can't even really, I'm thankful for it, because it definitely helped in the health department, all that other stuff, you know, everything, you know, your message you're trying to get out, the funds you try to raise and stuff like that. But, you know, you got the ones that don't really use it for what they need to use it for. And so that's just a part of life.
True. And the thing is, look, as I know some of your family members have said, if you can make it in Detroit, you can really make it anywhere,
Oh
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All of that experience that you're talking about with your father, with your grandmother, with like everybody in your family, being able to be that support system in school, those could have been roadblocks, right? But instead of being roadblocks, you utilize them as a springboard in order to kind of get you to the next level. So, but roadblocks, there's a lot of families that are dealing with roadblocks right now and looking to make ends meet for COVID-19. So just for everybody that's just joining us right now, we really appreciate you all being on. Our show looks to eliminate or to help eliminate those hurdles by raising awareness around hashtag Give Together Now. And if you go to givetogethernow.org, whether you're giving, $5, $10, doesn't matter how much you give, or if you just sort of take the notion of philanthropy and apply it to sort of the notion of kindness, that's also just as important. But there's a lot of people out there that really need money, and they're getting that $500. And so I just wanted to read a quote from one of there's 51,000 families out there that have gotten money, right? That have been really empowered. So this is from Naylin. She's a mother of 5. I'm just reading it directly. She's a mother of 5 because I want to be able to tell people these stories, right? A mother of 5 from Grand Rapids, Michigan. She's a part-time worker at a school, lost her job when the educational system shut down. Brandon, I know you're probably at home doing homeschooling. There's a lot of kids are at home, and whether you're talking about New York City, the school system is shut down. LA, Michigan, across the board, the school system is shut down, and she was living paycheck to paycheck and wasn't sure how to make rent. She'd previously been homeless and living in a shelter and was afraid she was going to be facing that again. This is what she said. Hashtag Give Together Now, COVID-19 relief fund was such a blessing. I spent 5 months to get to where I am now. With my job closing, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to pay my rent. But thanks to this blessing, I can. My kids and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And so that's from Naylin, who's out there in Grand Rapids. So if she's listening in, and whereas everybody is listening in, know that made an impact on her family. So go to givetogethernow.org and give as much as you can. Remember, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the families. And I hear a kid coming in.
I heard them bees coming. I
heard coming in.
What's up, baby? Come here.
So she wants to jump in. That's all right. You just got to introduce her to the community.
Yeah, this is my baby girl, Emerson. I knew she was coming. I heard them bees coming. But
Emerson, you're on.
Hey, Donnie.
Stand Together Live. Emerson, gonna wave to everybody. Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Are you happy to have your daddy at home? Is that your Elsa outfit?
I'd be sad when he leaves.
Your what?
I'd be sad when he leaves.
Oh, you'd be sad when he leaves?
Yeah.
So are you getting all your hugs and kisses in while he's at home right now?
Yeah.
Are you helping him lift weights so that when he goes back on the football field he can get big and strong? Have you been enjoying spending time though? Is that your Elsa outfit?
Yeah, look at him. Look at it. Go ahead, show it off, Mama. I know.
There she goes. Emerson.
I can show him my spin with my.
Hold on, we doing an interview right now, but
she can stay.
I know. I just I just was letting her know we got some. We're trying to raise money for people. You hear me? For families in need. Remember when we talked about it? Yeah, but no, it's all good.
I bet when it was your freshman year at Michigan, you weren't thinking you'd be where you are today.
You know what? The way things happen, you're right. Like, you always think about, man, I'm gonna make it to the league, but you don't know what that looked like. You know what I'm saying? And I will say, I used to think, oh man, these dudes when they make it, they doing this, they doing that. We do the same thing everybody else do. It's just we got a job, a job that puts us out there. You know what I'm saying? And we play a game that we love to play. Obviously, playing football, everybody's not doing it, but it is something that, man, it blew my mind what God had for me, man. I will say that.
And you started as a freshman, though. You know how hard that is?
Man.
Look, I played special teams as a freshman on the great University of Michigan '96 team. That was my first year coming in to the greatest university in the world. But you started, you were out there. I mean, how did what was, just for everybody else that's going through a struggling time right now, what was your mindset that allowed you to thrive, because despite having kind of like the lack of experience, right? Even going from high school to Michigan is like going from high school right into the pros. So a lot of people right now, they're all at home. This is like pro isolation. So what was your mindset being on those front lines as a football player at Michigan, despite that lack of experience? What was your mindset?
You know what? I leaned on just a couple guys that I see that was doing it. Like, Lamar Woodley was a guy that I played with for 1 year, but I seen how he came to work every day. You started watching certain guys that you wanted. Like, I want that success right there. I want this. You start picking and choosing on, certain things of different people on, man, I like how you do that. I can see myself doing that. And it's just always came down to mindset, man, like taking advantage of the time that you get, not saying that it's going to be perfect every time, but I think my mindset was my biggest downfall in the beginning. Like, I used to quit on stuff, not even quit on stuff, but just like when stuff got hard, it was like,
right,
man, pushing through, boy, that was tough.
So what'd you do?
I started surrounding myself with people that started holding me accountable, man. Then eventually that became who I was. You know what I'm saying? Like I started, like, saying, hey, man, B, you say you want to get there, but now ain't nobody watching here right now. I know I got to work out. I got to stay straight, and I got to do that. Me and the wife, that's my accountability buddy right there. She go to work with me, and she know when I'm kind of playing around and not going hard, because now she knows what it takes, and what she done seen me go hard. Now she got her baseline, and and man, that's why I always kind of had, I had them coaches that knew me, knew I knew how to kind of beat this, like not even beat the system, but just kind of get over a little bit,
right,
not push through. But I had I'm telling you, man, like it became a mindset for me, and that's what I'm more thankful of, because me winning that Super Bowl, I felt like it prepared me going through all that stuff and going through different levels of maturity, and knowing like, hey man, you can't keep talking about it. Your talent ain't gonna take you that far. Your mindset, your mentality, what you believe in, and it's just because it started with the people that I started surrounding myself with, man.
And that's your community that was lifting you up.
That's really my community that was lifting me up, because it's easy to quit on yourself, man. It's easy to go the other route when you want to, you can make that excuse, man. Oh, I got tomorrow. You don't know if you got tomorrow. You don't know if you even got a couple seconds from now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what life gonna throw at you. You don't know when your time coming. And for me, man, I started having kids, and that's what kind of drove me too. That changed. I had to level up even more. It wasn't about me no more. And now it's about these kids. And when I'm out there on the field, that's what in my mind, man. Like I got to go hard. You know what I'm saying? Because I say I want to provide something for my kids. I can't just talk about it no more. I used to talk about it a lot, about stuff, but now I'm in it, and now I got a certain amount of years left, and I want to go out in a way that I feel I can, by going strong, and going on my terms. And so,
so I remember, because I have an actual photograph of that moment when you came around the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know about that.
Oh yeah,
you got to take that corner where your defensive ends. So I was middle linebacker for everybody out there, so I had to really come around the corner that many times. But when I had to dip that shoulder. And I remember specifically when I was in New York watching the Super Bowl, and you came around the corner and you had that sack on Tom Brady. Now, I had tried several times myself to be able to sack Tom, and I ended up with a broken finger. I ended up with a missed tackle. So he got away from me a couple of times. But you did this in the Super Bowl. That was one of your biggest, moments on one of the biggest stages. Talk about that, because that was a defining moment in your life.
It was, man. Growing up, man, I never made it to the championship to lose it. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first time ever making it to the last game of the season, and and going for all the marbles. And man, it couldn't have ended the way I couldn't have wrote it, man. I knew it was somebody higher than me, you know, that made that, because, man, every year I would either get to the semis, lose. I got hurt one year. I remember in Little League, I got sick, so I couldn't play in the playoff game. My
You were
mama wouldn't
mad.
let me. I was mad because people started saying he was scared, he was this. I remember people saying that, man. I was so mad, but I understood, you know, you a kid, you know, kids they gonna be kids. We gonna have fun, you know. But that was my last year on the A team. I was mad about that because we ended up losing, and I felt like we could have won if I would have played a little bit, you know, because certain stuff was happening in the game, and I was still out there anyway. That was the bad part. I was still out there on the sideline, but I couldn't play because I was sick.
So
You
you
know,
sat Tom. You say something to him? I know you
yeah.
did.
Oh man. Not after the game. I ended up saying something to him when I seen him. Because, you know, after the game he was gone. They walked off. You know, they didn't want to stick around for all the confetti and all that stuff. But I felt like you know, he was a real good sport about it 2 years later, because he won the next year. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
he wasn't worried about that no more. But I do want to get that ball signed.
But you have the ring.
Yep.
And so you always will be able to show that off. You know, when we went to the Super Bowl, we unfortunately lost to the Patriots. So I appreciate you sort of stepping up your game and donning the 55 as you did and making that game winning tackle. But it made it even that much more special because your family was there, but also some of your friends were in attendance. Why was it important for your community to be there, and who was able to watch the game that was on your side?
Well, you know, growing up, it was always cool to see my daddy and my mom in the stands. You know, you want to go show off for them. So, you know, that's my whole thing. Playing every game, man, I want to show out for them. And so having the core group of people there that, you know, I love, you know, that helped raise me, you know, man, that was the best moment. If nothing else happened today, man, like other than having my kids, you know, that was my second best moment, you know, in life, you know.
But your high school coach was there too.
Yeah, high school coach. That's why I say, like, man, you know, I've been thankful. That's what Pal gave me. And then that's what, you know, I chose the right. Pal sent me to high school because the coach in Pal took me to Crockett. You know what I'm saying? And so, and me and that coach been together to this day. You know, he hit me up yesterday just, you know, checking in. And, you know, like I say, man, I just had a community of people that I ended up trusting. And, you know, I made the right choices, you know, on a lot of them. And so, man, and I kept them, you know, close to me, and having them people in the stands, man, it felt like back then, you know, it just felt right, you know, and it felt like, man, it was time to go out and show out like I do, you know, because that's what I'm trying to do every time, show out. That's every time.
Well, you're definitely showing out right now and giving people little nuggets that I know they are taking to heart and they're writing down. I mean, you've given so many, you know, one person make an impact. You know, don't be a quitter. I mean, there's just so many things I'm just writing down, and I'm just learning from you as someone that I look up to and all the good work that you've done. So just for everybody out there, as I said before, go to givettogethernow.org. You can contribute as much as you would like. And then also, if you guys want to leave some questions, throughout those questions at the end, Brandon's going to be answering a couple of those. Yes, you know, BG, he's the GOAT. Oh, by the way, you know, I was thinking about the name BG. I have a friend that I played with named as BG. Now you took it over. For those who don't know football, everybody
took over the 5-5 and the BG, huh?
Brandon Graham now is the real BG.
Man, but y'all boys always paved the way, man. I always pay respect to the people that we grew up watching, man. You know, we like people that we see, you know, even now people that look up to me. You know, I want to make sure that I pass it on, and the new rookies that come in, hey, man, hold it down, you know, because I only got so many years left. This is how we do stuff up in here. You put your own flavor to it, but, you know, at the same time, man, go out there and make your money and give back and change a life, you know, and that's all you can do.
It's all about, as we talk about, is stand together, helping others succeed, you know, creating those win-win scenarios. And I think that's one of the great things about the game of football is as you get older, you realize that, you know, the next person that's going to come in and take your position, it's a reflection on you, right? Being able to teach them. But one of the other things you do is, you know, you have Team Graham 55.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're empowering families in similar positions as you were growing up. Why is it important to invest in communities?
Because, man, it's not about you. It might seem like it's about you because you're the only person talk to you every day, 24 hours, all that. But you know, you want your surroundings to be good too. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to put in work there too. And if you got somebody that you see is struggling and you don't say nothing to them, maybe that's that same person what goes around comes around. He might be sticking something up, and you could have talked to this dude, and now he didn't even know you was in attendance, and bam, now you got this dude doing some crazy stuff, and you could have helped him all along. And he probably was giving you the signs, or she was, or he or she, and man, I just want to go out knowing that, I did not address that elephant in the room. If something come up and I feel like, man, I got a strong feeling about it, I want to act on it. That's just like when we talk about now, like Malcolm Jenkins, who I love, as a person and teammate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as a teammate, he's a leader. Like, man, it's just natural. You know what I'm saying? And me, I like to lead by example. He got the words and he lead by example. So it's like, for me, man, all it is acting on what I learned from him. Is just acting on what you feel inside. Like, stand for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what he doing in the community, I learned from him. I looked up to that, like, hey, man, stand for something. What do I want my daughter and my son to know that their daddy stood up for? You know what I'm saying? And he, like, when he was going through, like, doing all the social justice reforms and all that, and it was like, I wasn't ready yet, for that, and he was like, look, man, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm standing up on, because he wanted me to be a part of that, and I just wasn't ready at the time when he came to me. But now looking back, it's like, man, I do want to stand for something. I do want my daughter and them to, know that her daddy was a fighter. I don't want to just hold on to what I got on the inside, knowing that I really strongly believe opposite of what they saying right there. I learned to be combative in a way where people can receive it, other than, raising my voice. I didn't really know how to communicate until, I got with my wife for real. Because, growing up, man, you don't know how much growing up and your parents had this effect on you, on how y'all handle stuff, how y'all do things. It always root from how you was brought up, and certain things that you think is good may not be good. And I got exposed when I got with my wife. She knew how to communicate, because certain things wasn't good in other areas, but everybody's not perfect. But she taught me how to communicate, taught me how to just say it, like, and then obviously, you go talk to other people too. Like, I'm fortunate to be able to, humble myself and, know that I don't know everything, and go talk to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And go get the help that you need, because sometimes it's just having a conversation with somebody, man, that could change your life. You know what I'm saying? And really having those conversations with, like Malcolm, those guys as teammates, they taught me a lot, man. They taught me, hey, man, a leader is just really just going out there and doing your best for your brothers. And so that's why we came up with Team Graham, because it's all about teamwork. You got to be unselfish in a team. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't about you. And growing up, we all selfish with our own outright. We all got to protect ourselves and get ourselves there. But I had to get a little more unselfish, when it comes to team stuff, because it ain't about me. It ain't about, it's about us as a team. And if we win, you know how it go. If we win in Philly, boy, everybody happy, because we all together. You know what I'm saying?
You tell them.
And we lose, we all. Nobody want to see us smile.
But Brandon, that's you. You've been doing this your entire life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've been, as we like to say, you've been stepping up your entire life.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really what it is. Step up when you know your moment is right there. Like, look, man, somebody got to say something. Somebody got to do it. It's either going to be you or somebody else. And so I choose me.
But you've been stepping up on the field, and then as a team player, but then off the field, you've been stepping up as well through your community. And so it's a combination of both of those, right? Through Team Graham 55, allowing the community to understand the power that you learn through sports, and that teamwork that you create allows all of us to get better. And even somebody else that's giving you that you just keep talking about is your wife, and her her challenges that she's been through and how you all have come together and how you've stepped up with her.
Yeah. You know, and doing stuff together, you know, trying to find different avenues that we can do together, because like in this football world, you know this, it's about us. It's about that name on your back. And, you know, they always talking about, when they say things about our family, it's all about me. But really, you know, to be able to do something with the wife and to give back, man, and for her to have an idea to just be like, hey, let's do this. And, you know, there's certain things that we can do together, like our camp. We do stuff for boys and girls, you know, not just for the boys, because that's what we always see. The boys, you know, they taken care of, you know, but the girls really never have nothing to do other than just, you know, come root their brother on because it's something to do, you know,
Right.
come to something to see, you know. So, you know, just getting people involved, you know. Most of the time people just don't know where to put their money because it ain't a lot of stuff going on, you know what I'm saying, or their support, you know what I'm saying, because it's not a lot of stuff that's offered, you know what I'm saying. And so I just want to do something, you know, because maybe, like I say, I inspire somebody else to do something, and then bam, they do something and inspire somebody else, and it's just that domino, man, that we just trying to create, you know, because we everybody needs to, you know, man, it's easy to hate, but, you know, it's hard to love. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to trust. And, you know, but you got to do it. You got to be able to trust somebody. And even if you say you don't trust some people, you trust somebody, you know what I'm saying? And you trust people with information and whatever else that comes with it, you know. But, man, I just want to inspire, man, because we don't know how long we're going to be here, you know, and these kids growing up is going to be our future. And when I'm older, man, I'm hoping that they put in a better place for, you know, for the homes. Like you know, I don't know how I'm gonna be when I grow up. I mean, when I get older. We play football, man. We might not be able to walk around as much, but you might have these kids that's more loving than they are right now, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The generations change based off, you know, people that helped them growing up. And I know I can say so many, I remember so many different speeches that people gave me that I looked up to, from, you know, PAL to high school to college, you know what I'm saying? Being able to talk to Bo Schembechler right before he died, you know,
Yes.
Man, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And
for everybody out there that don't know, you just basically need to just Google it, okay? If you don't know who Bo Schembechler is, then you need to spend some time on the internets, as some people say, on the internets. But it's all about the team. I mean, there's nobody more that there's nobody that has embodied that more than Bo Schembechler. Just talking about the team, and I think, you know, Brandon, you embody that, and I think there's other thing in terms of Lloyd Carr, in terms of what he always says, and you're really spitting wisdom, as someone just pointed out. It's not about you; it's about something greater than yourself. And you've been preparing for this moment your entire life. So just two more questions, and then we'll get into some of the questions from the audience. What were you thinking when you decided to act during COVID-19? Was it the culmination of everything, or was there something just specific that you wanted to do, and there was a specific reason behind it? Like, what really allowed you to arrive?
I'm glad you said that, man, because I was about to say, you know, in a team, you know, you need a spark. And so I felt like, you know, with us donating and giving back and letting people know that we're thinking about them, that gives the team a boost. Like, man, like, dang, heck yeah, I want to cheat, whatever it is that kind of get their mind to take it off, you know, what's going on. I felt like, you know, that was the whole reason behind, you know, giving people a boost, because like you say, man, we've been, you know, in a team sport for a long time. And what the coach's job is, all he's trying to do is motivate, you know what I'm saying, and boost the morale. And so doing that, man, I felt like, you know, that's all we really wanted to do, was boost the morale for people to go out and be like, you know what, man, they just did this for us, man. I'm about to do my job the best I can do, you know, and we need them to do it the best ever, you know what I'm saying, right now. And we got to do our job too by practicing social distancing. And I understand people's situations different, you know, people, you know, taking them chances out there, and, you know, with risks, you know, come reward and come consequences too. But at the same time, you know, I really do believe that, you know, the whole point was just to build, you know, that motivation, you know, for people, you know, to not stress because they probably was going through it, and it finally boosted them. And that was the whole thing. That was the whole reason why I felt, you know, after talking with the wife, that's why we came up with it.
But it's also maybe an anointment in terms of not only in the notion of kindness, but it's also because you felt compelled because it was a part of how you grew up, and the notion of being able to give back. So do you feel like you're a true Philadelphian now because you gave all those cheesesteaks?
Hey, you know what,
and I'm surprised you didn't say Patagino's. You went straight to Jim's.
I went to Jim's, man. Jim, but I mean, I'd have had my fair share, and I can go with Max's in the neighborhood. You know, I've been up in North Philly. You know what I'm saying? Like, Max is good too, but Jim's was the one that I went to that I felt was commercial but had that flavor too. You know what I'm saying? And so I just like Jim's, man. I mean, everybody got their different ones. You know, I ain't tasted all of them, but I'm always, you know, open for recommendation, because at the facility though, they make a mean one too. You know how it is at the Eagles facility.
The NovaCare Center takes care of you, and I'm sure sure somebody from the Eagles is in the background watching somewhere in here, so they appreciate the fact that they make some good cheesesteaks. So let's go into the questions. Gabriel DeSaray asked best tip for staying sane during quarantine, and we only got a couple minutes. So
all right, so look, you know, if you ain't into TV and you don't watch shows, you know, that's cool. So what I do, I try to watch a show, then, you know, me and the wife been on trying to read a book a week. And so, you know, we pick whatever book, you know, it don't matter. And however many pages, we divide that by 7, and that's how many you do a day, you know. And so we do that. We take a bike ride. Sometimes just get out and go in the car and drive, you know what I'm saying? And if you ain't got the gas for it, don't just go out and take a walk, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, you know, take it one day at a time. Try not to look too far ahead, because we already in mid-April. You know, it just hit, you know, and the time is moving fast and time is passing you by. But you know, try to do something different, you know what I'm saying, that you would normally do now that you got the time. And
all right, one last question. And like a 2-second, because I don't want Instagram to cut us off. We need to get Mark Zuckerberg in here so he can make these Instagram lives longer.
It's all good.
This is from D. Stroud. What would you tell, this real quick, what would you tell kids that are struggling with school and don't see the purpose of it right now? Just what would you tell them right now? Just a quick nugget.
Ooh, that's a good one right there. What would I tell them? Okay, I would take them somewhere where they can see where they're gonna end up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you doing. You see that guy right there? You ain't far from it. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't trying to go to school. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna. It could be a good effect or a bad effect. But some people, you know, make their money later on in life. Some people don't. But some people gonna struggle. But if I had to do that, I'm at least exhausted taking them to places where they gonna end up. You know what I'm saying? If they don't get their act together.
Perfect. For everybody that joined in, my name again is Donnie Jones, and on behalf of Stand Together and all the thousands of families that have been supported by Give Together Now, we appreciate it. We appreciate the time with you, Brandon. You know, like I said, 10 years in the league, Super Bowl, the great Michigan man. It's been phenomenal. Just a couple just quotes that you said, you know, stand tall and help others. We talk about that at Stand Together all the time. Truly, one person can make an impact. You said that as well. And I love the quote, just don't be a quitter. Right now, we're really being tested by being at home. We should see the silver lining and be able to spend time with our families, because we may not get that time back, and it's important. But it's also important to give back, as Brandon has done so well, not only in Philadelphia but also here in Detroit. I know you're a Detroiter, you know, and that's really the strength of families in your family as well. Yeah. Stand Together Lauren is on there. So I just want to let everybody know that we have We have Sean Johnson East coming up Friday, April 17th. Sean Johnson East at 12 p.m. Eastern. She's going to be amazing. And then next week, Brandon, I know you probably watched the Olympics, but we have Dara Torres and TV producer Tracy Edmonds coming on too. So, whoop, whoop. What do you think about that? An amazing.
Hey, that's what's up.
So many guests who have been on Stand Together Live. Remember, www.givettogethernow.org. Contribute. It's even those acts of kindness that will go truly a long way. Brandon, thank you so much. Don't forget to save it to your story. We want everybody to see it, okay?
Yeah, I got you. Hey, but you know what, man? Hey, somebody said something on there that was funny.
What did they say?
McNabb. They said McNabb.
Ah, get out of here. I'll talk to you later, Brandon.
Hey, I appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you.